Welcome to the Sim Racers World Series on ApexRacingTV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me this evening is Alex Simpson, and we are looking forward to this 1 hour race around the classic Road America circuit. And Alex, but I think both our first times covering this championship, and should be good fun midway through the season. And just looking at the tails, it looks like it's still quite competitive in all three of the championships.
Yeah, hello everybody. Good to be back. Actually, not my first time doing covering the series. I did the first couple of races at the start of the season before Adam and Woody jumped in and started to cover. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Those couple of races were a lot of fun, and yeah, the championship seems to have gone from strength to strength. Speaking to Ian, sort of off air, would appear like the guys are already prepping for next season. We're obviously going to be covering that again, and there's potential for expansion moving forward as well. I don't think it's quite going to be next season, but maybe the season after that. So yeah, the series really is picking up nicely, and yeah, everybody's really enjoying it out there. So yeah, it's good to see on all fronts for us, with the broadcast and for the league and for the participants that are just all enjoying the format out there right now.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic success story. The Sim Racers World Group. I don't think it was initially a championship, but plenty of members now on Facebook. And yeah, absolutely fantastic championship that we have had so far. Moving on to this circuit, I think this is... I don't think necessarily these cars necessarily race this circuit in real life. I do feel as though this is a classic combination of GT3 cars around Road America. And yeah, it provides a lot of different challenges. You've got that middle part of the circuit, which is relatively tight and twisty, and you've got the long straights as well. And pretty much everyone likes this circuit. You're now going to say to me, Alex, how you despise this circuit, but personally, I'm quite a big fan of it.
Absolutely awful. No, actually, do you know what? This happens to be probably one of my favourite circuits on the service, I have to say, on iRacing. I really, really love this place. I had never heard of it before until I jumped on iRacing.
Really? Wow.
And yeah, no, and even back in the day, I used to watch obviously the IndyCar, like Mansell. When he was doing IndyCar, I used to watch that. And of course, they went there during that, but I was probably a bit young to quite remember the circuit, things like that. But I have to say, I jumped on it. I did a bit of IndyCar. That's really where it come. My first win, I believe, came at Road America, if I'm not mistaken. It was either that or Watkins Glen, one of the American circuits anyway. And, I was just kind of hooked to it. It was just such a great circuit. It's, it just encourages great racing with the long straights and leading into heavy braking zones. So it's definitely good opportunities for overtaking, but you can also defend on both sides, inside the corner, outside the corner, wherever you want. So just really makes for some fantastic racing, and yeah, an absolute classic. And why it's not used more, I do not know, but yeah, I think again today this will be a great combo. Be interesting to see, because definitely with the long straights it's going to favour the cars that can actually get up to a decent top speed. Now those that have been participating in the GT3 will know exactly what's going on with the BOP at the moment, and but yeah, I feel from historically, like, the Ferrari should always be pretty good here, because it just winds up and gets up to the speed. But of course, that could have changed very, very recently with the recent build change. I don't know what they did tweak in terms of the balance of performance, and I think this race will probably give me a bit of a better idea.
Yes, hopefully. Yeah, I'm not aware of any big changes, and usually when there is a bad BOP change, everyone hears about it. So really? I'm hoping that yeah, there's no not too much of a difference, because I believe, at least beforehand, it was relatively good, and you can see a decent variety of cars out there so far. Few Mercedes, few BMWs, and should be interesting to see how this goes in the championship. And also, apologies to the name calling in this. Personally, someone from the east of England isn't really going to have much of a chance with these names, despite living just a few hundred miles away from the Netherlands, of course, and many other European countries. But I'll try my best
And of course, we have been supplied the video, which obviously,
yes.
which was given to Adam and Woody, and those guys have been rocking it. I think the last couple of races, and I'm afraid to say they are off and going to do the BSR-TC sort of Pro Series. They are kind of that's their series that they do, unfortunately, guys. Which is why you've kind of you've got us, but we will pick that video up and I'll reshare it to you, Sam. So we'll try and try and match their quality moving forward. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I did watch it once. Can't remember too much. It was a few months ago. But in the gold championship, of course, we've got the gold, the silver, and the bronze championships. I think you can pretty much assume how they are graded. It's Vangenekton. Vangenekton? I believe that's how you pronounce it. He is in the league currently. He's won all but one of the rounds, and round 5 he's got a no score. So I wonder if that was a round that he didn't turn up. He's certainly the favourite, and he is currently on pole position by 0.3 of a second. Gregory Ranks is in second position with Bod Boland in third. Then it's Matthias Teege in fourth, and Javier Garcia Rodriguez in fifth position. All of those Mercedes drivers. In the silver category, Daniel McCauley leads the way once again by quite a hefty margin. But he hasn't won all the rounds, certainly. He's had a couple of setbacks. It's Kobe Clays in second place with Andrew Hopley in third. There's Arturo Alonso Alvarez in fourth and Jeremy Hessels in fifth place. All of them are Z4s. So I don't know if there's maybe some restrictions or something. And then in the bronze, we've got Bram Vanayutvan in first position. Stuart Musselwhite in second. There's Pedro Braganza in third, a joint third actually with Jochen Lenartz, and then in fifth position is Jais Morgi. A couple of them in the Z4s, a couple of them in the Mercedes, and certainly do seem to be the two cars which are dominating out there from my experience at least. The Z4 has never been especially fancied down the straights, and of course it is a bit outdated. Would love an M6. We've got an M8, and of course the Apex Racing TV Facebook page has certainly been making the most of that, and we saw some quite incredible scenes in the World GT on Monday where two M8s just blocked the circuit, making it impossible for the driver behind to overtake. We're not going to see anything like that today. These GT3 cars are slightly narrower, and this circuit is of decent width, but should still be interesting to see what that interaction between the cars is. Van Uten then coming up to the line. Can he improve? Currently at 2 minute 2.8, and that was just an outlap in fact, so he'll be trying to improve. The only driver in the 2 minute 2 so far. He really does seem to have a stranglehold on this championship.
And just to point out to the guys, obviously we are running our stream elements overlay as well today, so thank you very much for the sub there, Hugh. We will be keeping an eye out for those. But so if you follow us on Twitch, or any comments and things like that on Twitch or on YouTube, it should be flagged up though. Although a little flaky on YouTube every now and again. Doesn't seem to work quite as well, but Twitch is absolutely on the money. And of course, I think this is probably the second week only that we've actually been streaming on sort of all three of our platforms simultaneously with this series. So Facebook, obviously, if that's your choice for consuming your media content, then head on over to our Facebook page. We're streaming live on there. Of course, our trusty old YouTube channel that's been going for many, many years now, and Twitch as well. So, if you fancy something a bit different, hop on over to those platforms. I think we might have a colleague in a chat or two that might be able to share the relevant links between the two. So, do go over there, hit the like button, do all that kindness, and support Apex Racing TV, please.
Absolutely. Thanks also to Gerard Florison. He has said especially the Audi was made a little faster. So thanks for that. And unfortunately, there's not many Audis out there. There are two. That's it. So there's not many out there. So if that Audi is now completely OP, watch out for those drivers. They are Sinad Koken and Stefan or Stephen Smith out there. So watch out for those two drivers. They might completely blitz the field. However, if qualifying has shown anything, it does not seem to be the case. I've just put in an invalidated time again. It still seems to be going. Of course, a long circuit this. And we've seen so many times, I'm sure, on Apex Racing TV, drivers running out of fuel right at the end of the race. And, you know, it's an hour long. It's a difficult one with the fuel, this, Alex, because it's inevitable that in such a close field like this, you're going to get a slipstream. But if you put in a little bit less fuel, and for whatever reason you don't get a slipstream, all of a sudden you can be in real trouble with just a few laps to go, and you need as much fuel as you can around this circuit, as Daniel has a bit of one off.
Yeah, giving it absolutely everything he can, coming out of the final corner. It's pretty easy to do there. It's bumpy, very bumpy on that exit curb. If you just take a little bit too much of it, and yeah, bit him hard there. I was trying to find the Audis on the screen, but I can't. Just cannot see them. I'm trying to find one or two, but no. Just looking at the timing screen, you know, it's just dominated by BMW and Mercedes up there.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be the car of choice. And like I said, yeah, just a couple of them. No McLarens, as far as I can see, and only a couple of Ferraris as well. But yeah, hopefully we'll see a bit more representation of those cars in future seasons, as Todd Boland trying to improve currently. I frantically look to check what his sector times are, and I'm not actually sure. Is this an outlap?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it might be. It's certainly not counting as far as well. It's certainly not counting now as he's off track. But yeah, let's have a little look. As Eve's just gone quicker in sector 3, so purple. So he's out there really smashing it, and that's another off track. So that's it was a valid lap for Boland, but of course he's just boarded that one.
Daniel McCauley, currently the exception to the and Nick Sherman's, to be fair. Exceptions to the kind of classes out there. They're both silver drivers, but in 3rd and 6th respectively. Don't know if that reminds you of anyone, Alex. But they're certainly going above their license level currently. Very impressive for those two. Yeah, still not too much movement. What's the track temperature like? 31 degrees. So decent conditions actually for these drivers, but it is gradually increasing. Could make a small difference.
And for those that don't know, what Sam was so subtly hinting at there was that, of course, he was an AM driver just a few weeks ago in the BSR Radicals, and of course he went on and won the championship as an AM driver. So congratulations, Sam. So he does have a bit of a racing pedigree out there, so you know, he might know what he's talking about in terms of winning a championship. But yeah, I reckon it was just all a bit of luck, really. They handed him the championship, just kept falling off the track.
Well, this was actually my worst round out of 12. This was by far my worst round of the season, so around here I have absolutely no authority to criticise any of the drivers. But still quite enjoyed it. It was actually the one that I put the most practice into. So there you go, that's a lesson to learn. Don't put any practice in and you'll get better results. I'm sure these drivers have put a lot of effort in. I'm sure it will yield them a significantly better finish. And yeah, hopefully that will be the case. Hope we won't see too many incidents like we did see in the BSR Radical, especially around this circuit. Ranked currently trying to improve at the top of the Simracersworld drivers. As yeah, just going around the mid part of the circuit, set a personal best sector 1.
Yeah, I've slowed it down.
And,
I don't know if that was to do like a little connection blip or something like that. Just threw him off and maybe picked up an off track or something. But yeah, tyres. We switch to now. Again, he's looking to improve. Just set a purple sector 5 the previous lap, so definitely got some pace out there. We'll see if he can bring his Simracersworld car up the grid. Definitely top lap. In fact, let's jump on board, Sam. Why don't you take us through the rest of this lap?
Yeah, so we'll just approach this right-hander. Don't want to run too wide. You can easily pick up lots of damage just by running a little bit wide there, but very contained there from Fatigue, and then this left-hand is so difficult under braking because it's significantly downhill. I had to get all your braking done down the hill there. It's very difficult, taking the tightest line possible here, just opening up a little bit. Maybe a little bit wide there, but I think Fatigue has got a decent run. You don't want to compromise on the thoughts of whatsoever. Let's see if this one is flat through the kink. It was quite a significant lift there. You can see the understeer that he picked up, and now heading down into Canada corner. Oh, it's a fun corner. So you've got a lot of run up on the exit due to the curb. Just don't take too much into curb. Don't want to pick up a 1x, and don't run too clumsily wide either, and get right to the right hand of the circuit. Switch it left. Take a bit of curb once again. Not using too much of the run-off area there. And then, yeah, just getting it neat and tidy for the final corner. One of the easier corners, but still can have a bit of an instant on the exit. And then approaching the line, you can see it's Fatigue currently in 5th position. Let's see where this bumps him up to. And he goes up to 4th position. He's now top of the Sim Racers World drivers. And he might even go for another lap here.
A second improvement there as well. Not much, but enough just to move him up. He actually just he needed 1/100th of a second extra, and he would have pipped Macaulay there as well. So it was a particularly good lap, but I'm sure he'll be kicking himself that he just didn't quite get that one. But still, second row, pretty decent.
Yeah, he was only 200ths off the front row of the grid in the end from Bod Boland, who has just put in a lap time. I think that might be his qualifying overall. Certainly is now after picking up a 1x there. It's an incident limits here. 25 instant limits. I think that's for, yeah, that's going to be the race, because you can't have an instant limit for qualifying as far as I'm aware of. So shouldn't be too much of an issue. And it's one of those circuit with the grass, a bit like Monza. I was saying the other week, Alex, how kind of if you run wide here, you're just costing yourself time, and you're making a mistake very likely as the checker flag comes out. These drivers can complete the lap that they're on. It's not like the official says. They can complete these laps that they're currently running, and then that will be it for them.
Yeah, Roy Ververke, he's going to be one of the ones that finishes it first. He doesn't improve. Up next, where is he? Just coming round. Bill Mitchell Bend. Again, if he's going to improve his time, he doesn't need to right now. He's quite considerably clear, top of the standings. But he bought his lap and comes on into the pit lane. Doesn't need to. And Boland, oh, he's got a little while. He looks to be going pretty slow. I don't think he's on a hot one out there. What about Ronald Moons? Is he potentially on a lap? Ben Thean certainly is. Not any real improvements though. If you look at his sector times, all showing as yellow at the moment. We really want to be seeing a few green sectors in there to show an improvement. Yeah, no great improvements. Everyone on Moon's got a couple of green sectors in, so that's keep an eye on him. He may move up a couple of places. He needs half a tenth to jump Lee Deemer right now. So I've got a bit of traffic in front of him. Doesn't really slow him up, and he might actually get a bit of slipstream here, Sam. So that might help him.
It's like his teammate or something. He's giving him a fantastic tow up to the line. Is it going to bolster his position? Currently in 14th. Needs to get into the 2-minute threes really. And he doesn't improve. 1/100th of a second slower than his best time. So Ronald Moons will stay put. Someone else just improved a little bit further down the field. I'm not quite sure who that was. But anyone else still out there? Ververke might be out there. I'm not sure if this is a legitimate lap or not for Roy Ververke. And in fact, I think he has now just escaped back to the pit. So I think that's everyone now with their times complete. And yeah, should be another good race here. Pretty close amongst the top drivers. I've with a 4/10 of a second gap, but on such a long circuit, it's not a massive advantage necessarily.
No, I don't think so. I think the draft is going to make a fairly sizable role here today. Just get the corners right. Make sure you get your exits right. So if you have to brake it on a little bit earlier just to get on the power line scenario, then you can use that draft to sort of overhaul any deficit in sort of corner speed that you might have. So it should be, like I say, this is what makes it such a great circuit for racing. We're waiting for somebody, that's for sure, because yeah, we haven't been given the official. Yeah, we haven't been given the official results yet. Or the session, like I say, hasn't advanced yet. So somebody. There we go. Right, and we can now bring you the official grid.
Yes, I've Bangor Nixon on pole position here at Road America with Bob Boland alongside him. Danny McCullough starts along on the second row of the grid alongside Matthias de Tiege. Gregory Ranks starts in fifth with Stein Van Boel in sixth. It's Nick Shermans, Javier Garcia Rodriguez. Then it's Peter Graus. Ian Roots rounds out the top 10. Behind that's Maratza, Van Buell, Diemer, Moons, De Wolf, Hessels, and then Clays, Beverke, Mears, McConville, Van Utven, Woodburn, Danes, Musselwhite, Braganza, Vandenberg, Hopley, and Dupin. Didn't set a lap time, did Antoine Dupin. Hopefully he will take the starts. And well, we've got the longest formation lap on the grid. Positive, we get to see the new pace car for iRacing. Personally, I'm not a big fan of change. I prefer the rough. The 911 Cup car doesn't look too bad, but yeah, preferred the Mustang or the rough previously. But there it is. And we get to look at that for a bit. But it is about a 3-minute lap here. We've still got drivers lining up on the grid as well. I don't know why they can't just line up going into Canada Corner, to be honest, Alex. It's all the elements that iRacing need to add. Forget Silverstone, forget AI, forget damage model. I think that needs to be the change.
Just say forget Silverstone. Am I kicking you out of the comms channel? Give me my Silverstone! But yeah, no, I think it's just one of those ones that they forgot about, isn't it? You know, they need to get it. There's a few of the older circuits we still have the full formation lap or pace lap, however you want to call it, and yeah, like you say, it's a silly one because it is a massive circuit as well. So it does take a while. But of course, the new Porsche pace car, surely that should be zipping round. Come on, let's get it up there. I'm not surprised to see that be the pace car, of course, with iRacing's new tie-in with Porsche in terms of the new iRacing World Championship Series that they're going to run in partnership with those guys. So $100,000 prize pool for those that don't know. And the qualification series obviously has been and gone. I'm pleased to say, obviously, Apex Racing Team, I almost said it wrong, has got themselves 5 drivers competing in that for this season. So, yeah, we're happy that we're going to try and put best foot forward and carry on pushing like we did last season towards the front. It's going to be far more competitive, I think, than any series we've ever seen. In that sort of top-level series, that's for sure.
Well, personally, as a fan, I'm certainly looking forward to it because that Porsche, I think unlike the MP4-30, I want to say, unlike that, because the setups in the Porsche are very similar, and that means that, you know, when you got, 30 of the best sim racers in the world, there's going to be maybe 2 tenths between the fastest and the slowest. It's going to be quite incredible to see that all play out.
Yeah, and I think you're right, actually. Just talking to the guys a couple of days ago, they're definitely not a huge amount. They all seem to be following a very similar trend, and we're just like micro-tuning more than anything now, just to try and get the absolute best out of it. So yeah, it should be, like you say, it should be interesting, and an interesting format as well. They're definitely, iRacing and Porsche are definitely concerned with trying to give everybody a fair crack as well. So I think, you know, those that are quick, we could see some reverse grids. This is what I'm saying. I can't say too much more, but I definitely feel like we might have some reverse grids. Nothing's official yet, so no confirmation.
I'd like to hear the Wheel of Fortune theme on one of their broadcasts. I
wonder if they'll pull me in for a cameo for it. Probably not, but you know.
Of course, we won't. Unfortunately, that's probably the worst thing about this series. There's no reverse grids. We don't get to spin the wheel, and we love spinning the wheel on Apex Racing TV. It's one of the highlights of the broadcast for us. And yeah, well, of course, we've still got a few more corners to go. We're just going through the kink now, and then you've got Canada corner, not Phil Mitchell bend. We established that in a B-Tech race about a year ago, actually.
Yeah.
It's Bill Mitchell bend. I don't know if it's his brother or something, or distant American cousin. But whoever it is, whoever Bill Mitchell was, it's his corner. And then the last corner, which I don't know. Of course, this is one of the few tracks in America which actually has proper corner names, unlike just the corner numbers, and even that they mess up on as well. So
well, yeah, we've got A and B and things like that, haven't they? So yes, it's a bit of a hybrid, I feel.
Anyway, going into the final corner, the Porsche pace car will pull into the pits. Should have one pit stop in this race, I believe. And we are about to get underway here at Road America. It's Van Newton on pole position. And he's just waiting until he applies the throttle. Green flag's going to come at any moment now. And away we go at Road America. It's not a very good start whatsoever, and Bod Boland might be able to challenge going into turn 1. Not too much that Daniel McCauley can do because he's just boxed in his BMW, but he's right in the slipstream at the moment. Side by side for the lead going into turn 1, and just pulling ahead is Van Newton. And should just about be establishing that race lead. Still very close as McCauley getting past Boland seemingly. Not too many issues down the field. Bit of a poor start for Moretti. He's lost a few positions, but you can see McCauley now going up into second position. Has got a Simracersworld car just off the circuit. That's Ian Roots having issues there. And crucially, Van Newton holding on to the lead for Atomic Motorsports despite big pressure going into turn 1.
Yeah, so DeWolf, I think, was the other driver who went off in turn 1. He's down 10 spots and Roots down 16, so not too bad. Only just a couple of people fluttering off the circuit. So, yeah, good, nice, clean start, which is what we want to see. Keep this pack nice and close together.
Of course, McCauley currently the top of the silver drivers, and then the top of the bronze drivers is now actually Pedro Puganska. He's actually had a really good start, so they got ahead of Lee Woodburn and Stuart Musselwhite. So that's a nice start for Puganska in the Spirit Sim Racing team. And so he's the leader of the bronze drivers currently. The field just spinning out a little bit, difficult to stay close around this part of the circuit. Really no passing opportunities until you get into Canada corner. You can just see Van Newton just pulling away a little bit up to 7/10 of a second, and now it's Boland actually trying to come back at McCauley, trying to take back his second position, which of course he lost going into turn 1. Into turn 2 on the opening lap.
Yeah, and I kind of expect to see the Merc basically roar up behind sort of Dan in these straightaway sections. It's definitely going to be Dan's sort of weakness, but he'll be very good through sort of like that final corner there, the sort of fast sweeping corners that BMW of course carries just a little bit more downforce on the car naturally, and yeah, so he'll carry more speed through turn 1, through turn 2, so we might see him get a potential run on the lead sort of into, well, I would like to call it turn 3, but I think it's actually technically turn 5. But right now, he's just pulling away 1 point. What's he got? No, he's got a 0.8 second advantage at the moment. So going to be no surprise dive bombs from there from Dan, because yeah, don't care how good you are, you're not going to get the move done from there.
It was quite close between Hessel's and Clay's just a second ago, and it is still quite close. It went down to about a 10th of a second previously. These aren't teammates, but this is the this is for third position out of the silver drivers. Now a bit detached from the top 2, McCauley and Sherman, although it's those two really overperforming more than anything. These two in the BMWs, of course. And also Moon's just losing out to Moretta, and Woodburn losing out to Musselwhite as well. So a few changes out there. But yeah, nothing decisive at this point, of course, as that's already mentioned. The slipstream effect going to play a big part in this race, and so keeping your car clean for the most part is going to be an important factor in this race. You can actually see this entire queue, a bit of a queue falling behind Nick Sherman's. He's fell back from ranks a little bit, and now you've got this kind of 7-car train or so all following.
Yeah, Nick has been particularly quick in all the races that I've seen, side by side a little further behind them now. Stein there and Javier going side by side. Javier losing out, so Garcia in the VRO car just not able to maintain. He's now going to come under pressure from Peter in the Atomic Motorsport car. That's getting particularly tasty right around there at the moment. So early on, some battles going on. And for those that have never tuned into an ApexRacingTV broadcast, the little red flashes on the timing tower on the left, or the battle box that may be up, as we're still seeing this battle go on, just indicates where a driver has gone off track. So potential incident point been picked up there. Oh, late move there for was that Dima going up the inside? I think it was. Yeah, Lee Dima making a great move, gets it done in turn 1.
Yeah, really nice move there. A little bit late for him, but he's still going to be under pressure going into turn 5, coming out of turn 2 now. But in fact, actually, it's Grouse under pressure from Van Buell, and Clays has got a decent run as well. So these two are going to be ever so close going into this next corner. Of course, only 2 wide you can go into this corner if you've got any sanity about you at all. As down the inside goes the BMW driver, and Clays might just try to follow him through here. And this is an awful run of corners. And look at Clays. He's going to try to gain another position. This might be an awesome move. 2 places in just a couple of corners for Kobe Clays in the DynamiXX Racing team. And well, Grouse loses 3 places in just a few corners.
Awesome stuff. CQR Shifty, thank you very much for the follow, and also to Mario as well, that did one just a couple of minutes ago. But yeah, fantastic move. 2 spots in 1, just ideal. I think Van Buell there will be a bit gutted. He got the move done, and then yeah, Clay's just said, well, thanks very much. You set him up perfectly for me. But coming back at him now, all of a sudden, not a place really I associate a move going to happen into the kink.
Oh, Bigos. Wow, what a save that was. Was that Jeremy Moretta? I think that was having almost enough, as we see Van Buell. He's been able to pull away from that pack. Remember, he was right in the depths of them before, but he's been able to pull away due to them fighting. But he's just gone off the circuit. Sherman's, I believe, going ahead of him. And in fact, I think that was actually Sherman's just defending from him, and this is allowing Dima now to get close as well. I don't think Dima's going to go for a move into turn 1 like he did on the last lap, but this is going to be close now. Van Buell struggling down the straights. Garcia closing, going to the inside. Isn't necessarily an easy move once you get yourself on the inside, but if you've got the momentum like he has here, should be quite simple. And down the inside he goes, and that's a decent exit as well. So nice move there, up into 8th overall and 6th in class.
Yeah, got to, of course, hold on to it. And actually, I think Van Buell really perhaps should have opened up turn 2 there and not had an instant try and look back, because he's really sacrificed his exit speed there. And Dima, I don't think he's going to get enough of a run, but yeah, no opportunity for Stein to come straight back. I definitely would have had an opportunity there. Instant gut reaction from a racer, isn't it? Try and get straight back past the next corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's going on at the front? We've got a 2.3 second lead now. So yeah, he just doing his thing out there, and looking extremely good once again. Every race I've followed him, he's been dominant, and he's broke the draft, and yeah, he's leaving Macaulay and Boland to fight it out for second.
Yeah, and credit to Macaulay. He's been able to hold back Boland pretty impressively, but just on this lap, Boland getting a little bit closer to the middle part of the circuit. And, well, going into Cannon Corner, he's going to be right on his tail here. Might have to go a little bit defensive, Macaulay. And he does do so. Should have this corner covered, but he's going to compromise his exit. And, well, you'd certainly say Boland's going to have a great chance down the pit straight. Just that little bit of batsing has caused the teammates of Tatij and Ranks to get involved in this one as well. They're now within a second of these 2 drivers. You can see Macaulay really nailing Bill Mitchell Benz. and actually has pulled out about a half a second lead. That's really impressive from Macaulay, and he should be okay actually. And well, that's kind of what you need. You don't need to be fast on every corners. It's about which corners you are fast on, and that's just propelled an attack.
Exactly, but ideal. And that literally just goes to say what, or confirm what I was saying. So I'm not, Academy backside, I do know what I'm talking about. With the BMW just carrying the speed through there. So, and again, so we see instant Bolan catches back up in the draft, and if Macaulay gets a good, he does not get a good turn 2 at all. But yeah, that's another corner that the BMW should be strong and should actually pull away. So. So it does make it difficult for that Mercedes to get the run because he's always losing time on the exit of the corner. But yeah, looks like Macaulay just about weathered that one. Again, misses the apex. Under a bit of pressure right now, Dan. I think he's feeling it, making little mistakes. We don't normally see these little mistakes creep in from Macaulay. So of course does some real life karting as well. So we'll be used to sort of high pressure situation, but. I say right now, those mistakes are creeping in. Maybe he knows his CQR teammates are watching right now. Matt perhaps taking the Mickey on the channel if they're on Discord together. You never know what could be going on.
Absolutely, one of the front runners as well in the World GT Championship. Not necessarily fighting for the overall championship, but always a driver who's fighting for a race win whenever an opportunity opens up. But Bolan's keeping the pressure on. You can see actually, if anything, like King, he's really strong as Bolan, which is surprising because as the following car can be really difficult to pick your turn-in point, pick your braking points as well. So going to hand a corner. And well, Bolan will just be concentrating this corner. This is where he kind of lost his opportunity on the last lap. See a little bit of understeer, but that was pretty good, wasn't it, Alex?
It's not too bad. The BMW looked very strong. Much better final corner from Bolan this time. So that has got to be a good opportunity. Let's bring the battle box up. It's under 0.3 of a second. Let's see how the time comes down. Not as much gain as I was thinking. Going to get it down to about 1/10 or so, but he's going to have to do a descend if he's going to make any kind of progress there. And decides actually he's probably better off just waiting a little bit longer.
Yeah, and he's still lining it up though, potentially for a move at turn 5, which is a much more simple overtaking spot. But at the same time, if the lead driver defends the inside, there's very little that the outside driver can do. And maybe just picking up a little bit of understeer through that turn 2, not quite being able to launch an attack. As we go back to this battle, a bit further down the field, Hopley versus McConville. And yeah, this
Hopley actually just getting through there, so the upper place. So yeah, nice little gaggle. Might be for 21st, but they're still having a lot of fun out there.
Well, I'm trying to think. It's first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I think this is for 7th and 8th in class though. So as he looks to the inside, there's not much space down there. He's gonna send it both really deep on the brakes and far too deep on the brakes in the end for Berg. And he's under pressure now from McConville just behind. So nice move there from Hopley for CMR Esports. We're going to go side by side. Now, usually get some pretty good action side by side around this road in America. So I think you can see how these guys, just that one corner has cost himself so much time. Lee Woodburn now trying to get involved as well, but it just about sorts themselves out. Van Utsven as well trying to get involved. Also close between Clays and Growls. We saw Clays make that move earlier on. Currently third out of the still drivers wide now goes Clays. And well, that pressure just telling. Crucially, he's lost out to Jeremy Hessels, who moves up into the podium places on that in that silver class. And well, he'll be disappointed with that one. Will Clays? He was just yeah, too much pressure and a real unforced error there.
Exactly that, just a bit tight, wasn't he, going into Canada there, and yeah, just braked a little bit later than he could, and just bit him hard, unfortunately. But it's got a bit of work to do to see if he can catch back. Feel like it's not the end for him. Right, we've got a few drivers into the pits. Ruben Van Buell, he's come in, and actually Chris Moretta came in the lap ago, and he's still in there, so it looks like Moretta's race might well be done. Yeah, that BMW in. Oh, what's going on here? And that's Dan McCauley wide again in turn 3/5, depending on which number system you would like to use.
Yeah, certainly. Well, is this on 7? I'm not quite sure, or 6. But yeah, small issues there. He's still holding on to it. Okay, we saw that straight line speed down the pit straight, not bad whatsoever for McCauley. But it's now got Tej and Ranks getting involved, and of course they're going to be teammates. And if there's anything on the strategic side they can maybe pull off, because Ranks in the slipstream with his teammate for the entire race so far might well be able to pull out an extra lap. I believe the cars are limited to 80% fuel, which basically rules them out of a possibility of not stopping. They are going to have to do one stop. As just looking down the inside here, is this going to be a move from Tej? Not quite. So yeah, these drivers should be able to go probably about 50 minutes on a tank of fuel, maybe even more than that. But shouldn't quite make it to the finish because there's quite a high fuel consumption circuit due to the very, very long straights. As the 4 of them, rather elegantly, all 4 tenths between each one of them. Certainly a very good picture for the league, and just no one quite being able to pull off a move still. Just cannot get close enough.
When you look at the mini-map as well at the moment, you can just see that obviously this little pack has broke away nicely from Truman's and Co that are sort of chasing them down, but actually the pack is still pretty close together in all the classes. The sort of the battles are pretty decent out there. So yeah, good race in after 15 minutes. Just the lead group really starting to stretch away. I don't know what's happened to. I know Van Buel obviously did the pit stop, so you can see where he is now, right at the back. So perhaps he just wanted a bit of clear air. Maybe see if he can get some good laps in. Once again, McCauley under pressure into turn 5. And I think he left a bit of room there on purpose just to make sure he didn't get a little nudge. And yeah, once again, he survives though. But yeah, definitely these two battling is what allowed Matthias and Gregory to get back into it. So the Sim Racers World drivers are quite happy to watch these guys get involved. Maybe they ought to be, well, I imagine probably are communicating on the radio right now with what they're perhaps strategy plan was doing, because I feel like they are quicker. Maybe an opportunity for an for an undercut or overcut, depending on what they decide to do with fuel.
Yeah, a bit of an issue for Lee Dima. He was in a great bout with Peter Growls before, but he's just lost 3 positions. He had a small off, and he's down into 13th place after overtaking the likes of Clays and Verke earlier on. In fact, actually, he's been able to pull away. And he's clearly made a completely unforced maybe a slowdown. Yes, it is, and a very hefty one now. I'm surprised he had to give up so much time trying to keep to the inside, wanting to lose as little positions as possible, but actually that's lost him 4 positions overall, and yeah, 2 positions in class. So Elite Demon now all of a sudden from the front of this group right to the back of it with yeah, Ben Baines just on his tail. Sorry, no, in fact, I think he may have lost out to Moons as well, soon after.
Yeah, he did lose out to Moons. So right at the very, yeah, right at the very back there. So yeah, that's a shame because he was making some good moves. He's gonna have to do them all again. Down 1 spot for the race. Someone blown up. Who was that in the pit lane? I'm not in. I think that might be. Yeah, gone on there. Just trying to look. I'm trying to find it back on the replays to see what happened there. So I'll see if I can find that in a moment, and we'll get that replay up just to see what happened to this. There definitely must have hit the wall somewhere hard because the car looked like a mess.
We had a nice bonfire in the race for Alex a couple of weeks ago, where a driver decided to smash it into the wall with a couple of laps to go, and yeah, had a nice little fire across the line. Had a great view of the finish as well, but refused to move their car. So this is this the instant, Alex?
I could be. Oh well, yeah, absolutely is, but I don't really know how he got there. But yeah, kapow, boom. Hardware failure? Do we think that might be it? really don't know.
Unfortunately, I can see that replay.
It just drifted into the wall down the second straight. Yeah, very odd.
Well, he has now disconnected from the session as Berg, so that's going to be the end of his day, but hopefully will be around for the next round of the season. This is round 9, so we've got 3 more rounds after this one, and of course then there won't be too much of a break because we'll have season 4, I want to say, or season 3 of this championship.
No, yeah, 4. Yeah, this is 3.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to see a change of position between the teammates. Yes, we are. So maybe just a bit of an agreement there. You know, I've dragged you along so far in this race. Go the other way. So Ranks moves ahead of the Teach. And, well, they're still right on the turn of Macaulay and Bennett, kind of just waiting for those two to make contact. Bennett with a little bit of a better run this time, seemingly. That's 0.2 of a second, but maybe he's quite content on just saving some fuel himself. Macaulay not with the need to defend, although that's a little bit of a late block there. And in fact, going to try to go around the outside there is Boland. But really wasn't an opportunity, and all of a sudden becoming a little bit more feisty in that battle. Also very close between Growls, Clays and Viverke, and throw Moons in there as well. Because down the inside there.
Late on the brakes, gets it stopped.
Oh, nice one.
Committed, and I think that's what you know, if you're going to go for a move like that, you've got to commit to it, haven't you? You haven't got to half it, you know, and try and pull out right at the end. So, but yeah, Hessel with a great move. Sorry to interfere. I just had to jump in because I was like, oh my god.
Also, oh dear, Hessel's into the wall, and that's well, that's going to be quite a bit of damage. These drivers do not get a faster pair as far as I'm aware of. No, they do not get a faster pair. So that is going to be it for Jeremy Hessels, and I think, yeah, he can try to drag that car back to the pits, and all of a sudden making a bit of an impact here. Almost making contact with Ben Mears, and now is he going to spin it? No, does a pretty good job of hanging onto the car, and we'll probably pull that one into the pits. Very disappointing for him.
This is as close as I've ever seen. I think Boland on the main straight. Is he gonna? I think he's gonna have to just throw one up the inside somewhere.
Not this time. Needs to be within quarter of a second, I'd say, going onto this straight. It's the gap. 0.37, yeah, so he needs to be about a tenth closer. Seemingly Ranks a little bit closer. Maybe he's feeling a bit more racy than his teammate. Feels like going for a move. Can quite easily, or I say easily, but can sometimes kind of catch the middle driver unawares, especially if they're braking a little bit early to avoid the car ahead. Often you can just slide your car down the inside and catch them unawares. But for now, Ranks quite happy to stay in that 4th position. That's 3rd in class.
And I think that swap was definitely a good idea, because Gregory looks like he's a bit more racy. Just seeing on the chat as well on Twitch right now, it may be Anton Dupin's birthday today. Yeah, it's not going exactly to plan for him right now out there, but happy birthday nonetheless.
Yes, absolutely. So I don't think Anton took the start then, did he? I don't think.
I think he was in the pits, wasn't he? He was there was one driver starting from the pit lane, and I'm pretty sure it was Anton.
Apparently, he did 3.38 laps. Didn't set a qualifying lap either. So, well, if he'd won, I'm sure this is a very generous community, and maybe would have given him a trophy or something. Best birthday driver. That would be a fantastic award, I must say, for each round. As we head on to lap 12 of this race. Gap between top 2, 8.5 seconds. Gap between 2nd and 5th, less than 1 second. So now here comes Branks right on the tail. Will he go for the move on Boland? Boland waiting to get the move for so many laps, and Branks just pulling out of that one at the last moment. In fact, if anything, that little bit of pressure has encouraged Boland, because he's got a pretty good run through that turn one, but Vrank's certainly more aggressive than Tej was. And it's getting closer to an overtake, I feel. Still no clear opportunities for these guys, but they're just starting to run out of patience ever so slightly.
Yeah, and I think what that just proved to me that Bolan can go for a move in turn one if he's about a tenth or so back, because he braked ever so late there and was still able to make the apex no problem. He needed to. He felt like he was under a bit of pressure from Franks, and maybe that was a bit of encouragement for him to try a move on Macaulay. But nothing between these guys right now. There are some other good little battles going on as well. Ronald Moons and Roy Viverke. These guys obviously are very used to driving against each other. Nick Schumann's into the pits as well, I believe. Unless he's out. He might be out. What's going on? What's happening to Schumann's? I know there he is. So connection problem for Nick. He pops back in, but yeah, even the overlay for a moment thought he was done and dusted. But yeah, his connection pings him back right at the deck. You don't get very long, of course, with the servers to reappear and get a decent sort of quality connection back before it politely removes you from the server.
Yeah, of course, it's very important for Sherms because he's currently second out of the silver drivers. Second out of the bronze drivers is Lee Woodburn, who's actually made up a few positions recently. He's right on the tail of this battle between McConville and DeWolf. Yeah, none of these are Team Simracersworld, DynamiXX Racing, and Excite Racing as well.
Yeah,
Woodburn's... Sorry.
No, yeah, just saying, Woodburn having a little look. Good to see Lee. That obviously we've commentated on Lee together before, I believe. Sam, I'm trying to remember where was that in. I want to say the Sunday series, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think certainly the BSR GTs on a Sunday. Not sure if he did the Porsche series or not. So he's got a bit of experience in this car.
So again, nice and close. It's actually more for third. Definitely, Gregory is the driver. It's looking a bit more like he's going to place a move right now, and actually, it's giving a little bit of breathing space for Macaulay. And I think if Dan can get to sort of 1.5 seconds out, so he hasn't got the draft, you know, helping Bolan really, I think Frank might be able to make a move. But also then Dan can push on because he's not constantly checking his mirrors, having to defend corners which are just slowing his lap time down. So we might see him stretch that margin out, which is what he wants before obviously pit stop. So he's got a little bit of a buffer, because you just never know with the pit stop window, especially he's been at the front of this pack. He's going to have to put a little bit more fuel in, so he's going to have a little bit of a buffer to play with.
Yeah, I think the BMW has a slightly smaller tank. I'm talking like 120 to 115, I think, so I don't think it's really going to make much of an issue. But that implies to me that maybe it has slightly lower fuel consumption. It might save him a tenth, I don't know. But hopefully, hopefully that is what it comes down to. We want a very close race amongst these drivers. Here is Sherman's losing out to Van Buell with a mistake, we think. So, yeah, just going into this final corner, and yeah, he'll be kicking himself for that. That's, dare I say, a rookie mistake.
Survives an internet crisis, only to make a mistake and drop down, unfortunately.
So he's now only 1.5 seconds ahead of Growls, who's had a good few laps after having some quite ferocious battles earlier on in the race. Back to this battle, McConville seems to be just the centre of everything right now. And DeWolf's still having to defend from him. These two, of course, both silver drivers. And both, well, seemingly, DeWolf with a little bit of damage. Currently, we've also got Buganster versus Hopley very close down into turn one, just ahead of these drivers.
Yeah, and that kind of killed my camera work now. I was like, well, that's it. Get on board. He's got to run, surely. And into the pits he goes, but on his own. Woodburn has stayed with him. We can switch on board to Lee. About 0.6 of a second behind. 14 laps in, 28 minutes gone on the clock. So we're looking at probably a 30 lap race, I would say here, Sam?
Yes, my A-level maths would point to that. Maybe even 31, dare I say. These drivers will have to complete.
Where is the leader? Ah, yeah, to be fair, he is about to cross the line. So you might be right.
See, that's what we've been learning for the last 2 years.
My GCSE C in maths clearly failed me miserably. Now we know the difference.
I don't even get I don't even get let's name. I get numbers. So I don't know if you know about that. But yeah, they changed all the sets. So I got a 7, and I'm sure you have no idea.
What the heck is 7?
Yeah.
So come on, give A, B, C, far easy. A plus. It was bad enough when they introduced that. A star and all sorts of things.
Oh yeah.
But I got 97% on my maths exam, and I got a C. So how'd you work that out?
What? Seriously? That's not very good maths.
No.
Dare I say? I'm not sure if they should be saying the boundaries.
Yeah. But yeah, just got put in there with the not so intelligent people's exam apparently. So yeah, 7% still gives me a C. So the max you can get, but you get the same questions, right? Not that I'm having a rage about English examination papers, whatever, but yeah, the same questions were on the higher paper, and you got them right, and you got a B. So yeah, I was not happy.
No, hasn't set you too far back. You think at least.
I got 10 fingers, 10 toes. I can still count them. So
yeah, awesome. 10 seconds now.
Yeah,
the top two.
Just and actually, I tell you what. Let me just for a second just bring that back up on the map, because we can see that sort of gap. So yes, he's coming through the kink. Macaulay has been able to stretch away even more, 1.4 seconds now. But yeah, it's it's comfortable, and it's just lapping consistent pace. I mean, the last 3 or 4 laps, 2037 for the last lap against like Macaulay 2044. So it's over half a second a lap now. So as the stint has gone on, he's just got quicker and quicker as Zeef there. So tyres absolutely on the money with the setup, I think, there as well. So yeah, he is loving it right now.
Yeah, his first 10 laps were all separated by about 0.4 of a second. And around a long circuit like this, very, very impressive. I imagine he's still pushing relatively hard. Worth, testing the mind, seeing how hard you can push in quite a long race as this is. Because no, I believe there still isn't any endurance championship for the GT3. No official series, at least, since they got rid of the BSR. Sorry, not the BSR. The endurance Blancpain series. As Garcia gets very close to Sherman, so we're going to see him move down into turn 1. There goes Garcia, and that's a very well executed move. He's a man on the move. Growls is very close behind as well. He's been the fastest out of these 3 drivers for the past few laps. And Van Buell about 5 seconds ahead, just seeing him in the distance. And so these guys might stand a chance to catch him by the end of this race. Now over halfway through, also got side by side between Braganza and McConville. Braganza, the leader out of the bronze drive, so really not worth getting involved in a collision here. But he's playing it pretty risky as he goes ahead of McConville, puts a car between him and Lee Woodburn, who's second out of the bronze drivers. And the Spirit Sim Racing drive up into 16th overall.
Lee Dima jumps to the pits. What is that about? Let's have a little look, see if we can see. Did a few offs in the last little bit, so I wonder if he's picks up some damage. I don't know if you can see this replay, Sam, but yeah, he's going to pick up. That's just an off track there. Nothing too major in there. So I think what's happened is this one is going to be the severe one. So we're going through carousel right now.
Going to well to hit the wall from here.
He has
done very well.
He's just drifted wide, come to a stop, and yeah, retired, jumped. So I don't know quite what's gone on. And actually, as we jumped away, that battle that we were watching,
Oh, brilliant move.
John McConville, he's going to actually, he's going to pull up as well. Look, exactly the same. What's going on? Is that a meatball? Must be a little bit. Just, it was light hit. Yeah. That really surprised me. But I mean, he's jumped to the pits just the same. So perhaps a couple of drivers picking up some damage, getting a meatball, and yeah, just retiring from this race. Roy Verke into the pits.
Bit of a divide now between third and fourth, which we didn't exactly see coming. Boland upping his pace slightly, was half a second faster than Dan McCoy on that last lap. Ranks and Detige still going at it.
Yeah, well, why all of a sudden have they switched positions as well? Perhaps something that we have, yeah, we've missed. So let me see if I can find something to indicate why.
Lap 14, Ranks set a lap time 2 seconds slower than normal. Lap 15, he set a lap time about 1 second slower than normal, and he seems to be back on the pace now. So maybe made a mistake. They ought to change positions again, because Ranks was looking really quick, like the second fastest driver on circuit beforehand.
Here we go.
Maybe this is how it happened.
Yeah. Oh, just a little bit sideways, perhaps snagged a brake or whatever in Canada corner there, went off track, his teammate goes through. Yeah, nothing, just a simple mistake, easily done. I say this because I tried to defend my brake snagging absolute rubbish show from last night against poor Brian. Yeah, so yeah, apologies for that.
Yeah, yeah. Initially, I think Lee was defending you a bit there. I was a little bit on the fence. I think, yeah, maybe both drivers could have given a little bit more space, as you said in your post-race interview. But so far,
I mean, now I'm on this chat, and of course, perhaps he's not listening. I do think it was pretty stupid to try and go around the outside of there, I have to say. But yeah, the minute it seemed apparent that I was going to defend it, it's kind of like, well, you know, you're risking. So, but yeah, the blame has to fall at me, unfortunately, for snagging the brake. If I hadn't have done, like I say, we'd have made contact on the exit, and it'd have definitely been Brian's fault.
Down the inside goes Growls. He hasn't made it. Just behind Sherman still. Sherman's kind of failed to lose this, because he's the second place out of the silver drivers currently. He's got a 7-second gap back to Kobe Clays. Who's probably just at the end of that shot.
If I just quickly do this for a second, you can see obviously who's first in what now, but you can also see that on the mini-map as well. So you can see Macaulay just going into the tight left-hand before Canada, the carousel, sorry, and then obviously we see where Nick is on the circuit there as well, just coming through turn 5 and then 6, the uphill left. But yeah, so quiet margin, but he's got a bit of a gap as well to 3rd and 4th, so like you say, doesn't need to get himself too tied up. I mean, probably a lot of personal pride going out there to try and beat some of these gold drivers, that's for sure. And of course, it's worth pointing out as well that if you didn't know why the drivers had the different markers on the left, that's the different classes that they're in. So we've got gold, silver, and bronze, and yeah, they have got an individual championship as well as an overall one.
Yep, and I must say, well, apart from a couple of exceptions, I think the pro or the gold, silver, bronze ratings are quite appropriate. You can see quite a clear divide on the overall standings. As yeah, Growls 3/10 to a second behind. Sherman's disappears again. It's always a bit of a frightening moment, because of course he's going to appear hopefully anytime soon, and could potentially be much closer to Growls than he was initially. And there he is back again, and he's actually pulled away a little bit.
Yeah, strange how that happens, isn't it? It's just like, ta-da! So, but you know, when you get a blinking car in front, you know, you're always a little bit hesitant, I think. You never really know where they're going to be. Just a quick reminder to everybody as well, we are broadcasting tonight on Twitch and on Facebook. So, yeah, I'm just assuming you're watching on YouTube. Of course, it is our main channel. But for everybody that is tuning in, you know, if you fancy heading over to some of the other channels, and sharing the love and hitting that like button or even the subscribe button. And yeah, help follow the channel. It supports us and helps us as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. Me and Stam always like to get the most likes, hence the plugs. So come on, guys, help us out. We want to rub it in our co-colleagues' faces when we get the top likes of the week. Everyone's not going to do it now, are they? Just out of spite.
Hopefully they don't dislike us quite that much. Always try to get the most amount of likes on the Facebook page, of course. We're nearly at about 2,000 likes on the Facebook page. It'd be nice to break that barrier at some point. I think it's something like 50 likes away. I think already the followers are extremely close to hitting 2,000. I don't know why people follow Facebook pages and don't like them. I don't know if it's, you just want to spy on your enemy or something like that. I don't know if that's what's going on.
Yeah,
do you certainly like the Facebook page?
I'm not too sure. I would say it'd be nice if we could get to 2,000 by the end of the broadcast. But I imagine a lot of people that are watching over on the different platforms as well. They will probably have already liked it. But if you haven't, yeah, please go and head over there. See if we can get perhaps by the end of March up to 2,000. That would be nice.
So you got some great quality memes on that. It's worth your time to certainly like our Facebook page. As we check in on Daniel McCauley and Bod Boland. Of course, getting relatively close to the pit stops here. Expect them in next quarter of an hour. I realise there's only 20 minutes to go. They'll certainly pit in that time. Unless something completely wrong. I assume they will come into the pit, seeing that the tanks are limited to 80%, and usually these drivers can do it about 65 minutes around a circuit like this. So they should get pretty close to the finish. And Boland, it's been a bit of a swinging race this, because McCauley initially seemed to be under big pressure from Boland, and then it looks as though Ranks and Detige had great pace. They were closing in. Boland was falling back, and since then it seems like Boland has been able to close back in, and once again just waiting for the move. With the amount of time he's been following the driver currently in second place overall, most likely will be able to edge out one more lap on fuel, and that could be decisive. Of course, these drivers will not be changing tyres at their pit stop. Would cost them far too much time. Would lose them about 27 seconds, which of course with about 5 minutes to go is not going to be redeemed again. As Boland really closing in now, confident on the brakes, and that's a nice line as well to the corner. He's really lining this one up now.
Yeah, he's got no pressure from behind now, really, so he can afford to try and really look forward and go for these moves, I think. Of course, Matthias has stayed ahead of Gregory, so they've not been able to close back in. No one goes into the pits. No, but yeah, Dan just sort of moving around a little bit just to try and break the draft. But clearly, Boland has the pace because he was able to draw back in from sort of 1.4, 1.5 seconds back to this 0.4 of a second. Just that final bit, he's struggling to get the move done. Of course, did qualify second, so it does make sense. Some more chat on the balance of performance. Drivers saying really anything but the Mercedes is almost a disadvantage. Drivers obviously can't swap cars through the season, so Corley's sticking with his BMW, but looking pretty strong with it nonetheless.
I always commend drivers for taking the less conventional car. Personally, I am one for never going for the obvious choice. You always want to be a bit different, and maybe 1 in 100 times midway through the season it casually turns into the best car on the grid. May only last for one round as they patch it back up again and make it a bit slower, but whilst it lasts, it's always very good. But seemingly, yeah, the Mercedes, the stronger car out there, as it has been for much of the past 3 years or so. The Audi at one point, I believe, was very quick as well. And many of the pro teams, I think, actually ran the Audi last year as well. But quite a difficult car to get the hang of. But this Mercedes, certainly the best all-rounder, seemingly. Majority of the battles just trying up a little bit. We've got a few drivers about 1 second between one another. But no one really going wheel to wheel at the moment. In fact, the battles for second and third and fourth and fifth are the closest at the moment. And at least for, Ranks and Teach, with them following each other so closely, they will at least be able to have go a couple more laps on Fjord's. Van Buell called upon. He's started mounting an attack on Buganza.
And of course, Van Buell has pitted, so he's the he's not the first of the drivers that have pitted, because actually, I'm gonna work this out to see who it is. No, it is Andrew Hop. He's pitted as well. So he's the furthest up. So that was a good pit stop from him. But yeah, Van Buell, obviously, will carrying a fair bit more pace. Last lap was nearly, well, it was 1.1 second quicker than Pedro. So I'm sure he'll get this move done pretty quickly.
Yeah, should do so. And Braganza, of course, leader of the bronze drivers. No point in him fighting too hard. It was a great start for Braganza, because his qualifying, I think, was only about fourth out of the bronze drivers. But straight away got into the lead at the start. And, well, unfortunately, he's going to lose out here. Van Buell going down the inside. Yeah, very generous from the two of them. For the livery that I'm seeing for Van Buell is a 7-up livery. Well, I think quite iconic to... Well, it's not really a Jordan. Actually, no, it is a kind of a bit of a Jordan livery. At least what I'm seeing. I don't think I've got the most up-to-date paint. But I do certainly appreciate that.
You are right. That is the livery that's in the paint pack. So, yeah, hopefully you do have the most up-to-date one. But, yeah. Is it 7-up? Or is it more of a... isn't it a Tic Tac?
Oh, maybe. I thought I saw 7-up on the... No, it is Tic Tac, so apologies.
Yeah. I just took your word for it there, because you know what? But I think you're right. I remember seeing like a livery very similar to that with 7-up on it as well. So, but even then, it's kind of like the color combination is more of like a Sprite kind of drink, isn't it? The green, more Sprite.
And what?
It's Tic Tac anyway, so I don't know why I'm debating.
I certainly remember. The Jordan livery was 7-up, wasn't it, in the early 90s?
I think so. Let us know on the chat. Anyone confirm? Oh, into the pits, Macaulay. So, yeah.
And did Teach? Franks?
No, Franks didn't. Yeah. So, taking the opportunity. I mean, he's definitely got the pace over his teammate. I feel like if you can stay out longer, it's an advantage. Obviously, like you say, no tyres are going to go on the cars. Van Buell in as well. Yeah, so no tyres whatsoever. So you're going to be slower because you're going to actually gain weight, aren't you, with the fuel? But no fresh rubber to go with it. So only unless you've got some serious pace over your rival, you're going to sort of do an undercut. The overcut is the way that I'd go. So this is really what Boland's going to be looking to do. That's his, going to be his thing. I think right now, try and get this overcut because he hasn't been able to find a way.
Not an amazing Sector 1 seemingly. Sector 2, good. Not amazing again. Sector 3, yeah, not a little bit off if anything. So Boland not really producing the times that he needs right now if he's going to get this overcut. Of course, I can't think of a longer pit lane unless maybe Indianapolis could be a little bit longer than this pit lane. It is absolutely horrendous, and that's why you really don't want to run out of fuel. But he's going to have to put it absolutely on the limit if he's going to claim that second position, because he looks pretty good for second position in class. But I'm sure overall he would like that. Achievement. Teach a further 4 seconds behind, pretty much half the grid. Pitted in on that last lap, so quite inevitable that we're going to see everyone else in on this lap.
Leaders in as well. Yeah, I think you're right. So not only has he been able to bang in those good laps, he's been able to save fuel. Thank you, Samuli, for posting the link to the 7-Up Jordan. You were indeed right.
Oh, good. Okay, so I've redeemed some kind of integrity, at least.
So Bod in as well. So is Matthias. Let's see, really, we're looking for Macaulay.
Just ahead.
Yeah, I think just a little bit out of shape for, I'm not sure who that was. It looked like one of the Immortal car, so don't think we've got any issues in terms of our leader. He's away. Drive through the new Porsche pace car, but where is Bod? There he is, and Macaulay coming up the hill now. This is going to be close.
Absolutely. Here comes
maybe not.
Macaulay. Ooh, it's going to be pretty close. Bod, Boland's away. Oh, he just didn't have the acceleration.
Just as they were.
That's a little bit wide there for Macaulay, and this might be his best chance. He's got cooler tyres now, and of course anyone who's used the iRacing service will know that slightly cooler tyres, maybe slightly less pressures as well, maybe is his best opportunities. Within 0.3 of a second, this is as close as Boland has been all race so far to losing the lead on just the second corner of the race. Boland's got an opportunity to get back past Daniel Macaulay. Looks to the inside. Is he going to go for the move? Bit half-hearted in the end. Decent braking from Macaulay. Wasn't going to give it to him. And, well, Boland's going to have to put in something quite spectacular if he's going to finish on the second step of the podium today.
That Birma so good on the brakes. I think Dan really showing it there. He was under a little bit of pressure and just, yeah, really extended or shortened down his braking zone. That made it very, very difficult. Bod really would have had to have really committed and sent it. But now he knows he's got 10 minutes and a bit to get it done on the track. And perhaps he was being patient before, waiting to see if he could do it in the pits, saving the fuel. It wasn't enough. And now, yeah, he's absolutely got to pull this move off. What happened between the two teammates? They are pretty much as they were as well. So, yeah, Gregory's going to have to do it on the circuit if he's going to get past Matthias. And I think, yeah, that's a little bit of it's a bit of a shame. I think Vranks, he definitely had the pace to battle with second and third here as well. So that little mistake has been really costly. But I understand why. Matthias not going to move over and just let him have it again. He had his opportunity, wasn't able to get by, but a mistake wide. Very, very deep into the corner for Matthias. Surely the 37 is going to be under pressure from his teammate right now. And yeah, that's surely going to be a done and dusted move because they're not going to fight too hard through turn one. Indeed, they don't.
Yeah, they're too far behind. Second and third, though, now. 5 seconds behind, so they're not going to be able to close that gap at all. Did they have slightly long pit stops? So he did. Boland with the shortest pit stop didn't yield him pulling ahead. So he needs to be hoping that they've nailed the fuel and maybe have just enough to get to the end. Of course, 9 minutes to go in this one.
Corey was 1.3 seconds slower than Boland in the pit lane, and he still held on to that. So I tell you what, he must have had a lap of his life in terms of like either the in lap or the out, well, more the out lap really. To hold on to that. So yeah, great job from him, and actually stretched his legs a little bit now. 0.9 of a second. The two teammates starting to battle again. Let's have a little look.
Wide.
Oh, another mistake.
Just turning a little bit clumsy right now for these drivers.
Well, actually, we missed it because they've swapped positions again. You actually take a quick look. It's Matthias back ahead again, so somewhere along the line. Let's see the replay. So yeah, Franks wasn't able to hold on to it here. So his teammate coming straight back at him down the second straight, and that's one good thing when you're fighting your teammate, isn't it? They tend not to battle you too hard, but. Yeah, no team orders, clearly, apart from just don't hit each other, I think. And, yeah, so they're just having a bit of fun amongst themselves now with the remaining 7.5 minutes. 15 seconds the lead now. We haven't seen too much of him, but he's just put the fastest Sector 1 time into this race, so... just flying. No, I didn't expect to see that with the tyres being... You know, with extra fuel and a bit of tyre wear, but no, still absolutely on it. He is at the front now. 15 point, yeah, I'd say 15.4. just really a bit of a masterclass today.
Absolutely. Of course, there is a instant limit of 25. Oh, if he broke that, it would be one of the most spectacular things I think I've ever seen in anything, because he's absolutely dominated so far. Hopefully, he will not eclipse that mark. And yeah, certainly seems to be on his way to yet another race victory. I frantically look to see how many he has won so far. All but one, so this would be his 8th victory of the season out of 9. And you wouldn't not bet against him, maybe claiming all of the next 3 as well. Boland could close in a little bit on ranks in the championship. The Tej will still be in 4th. Van Buell might have a decent run as well in that gold championship. Macaulay just extending his lead in the silver championship. Clays, Hopley, Alvarez, Hessel's not really anyone getting too much an advantage there. And in the bronze, Braganza actually will be closing in quite a bit on Van Uteven and Musa White as well. So it could get interesting with just a few rounds of the championship to go in that one. As Boland fell to about 9/10 of a second behind again. He's got it back down to just half a second. So not giving up on it yet, but well, he's not been able to make the move for what, 54 minutes so far in this race. He isn't looking strong for him to make it in these final 5.
New fastest lap of the race from our leader right at the end. He doesn't need to at all, but he wants to. 2:03.3. That was 1.3 seconds quicker than what Macaulay went on that last lap. That is just crazy pace right there.
Yeah, that's...
Sign him up.
I think that would have been at least... I think that would have been 4th on the grid if he did that in qualifying. So he's basically as fast as these guys in the race as they were in qualifying. So absolute domination. Of course, this is on our old tyres, of course. So absolutely.
He's put a bit of extra fuel back in as well, you know. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty cold out there. Looking at that, and of course, track temperature makes a big difference. We look like we've got a bit of a hyper cloud right now. It looks very dull and overcast, doesn't it? So, you know, of course, track conditions are aid into that as well.
Hopley gets him past Ververke. Just looked on the timing screen. That is the battle for 13th and 14th overall. Battle for 4th in the silver category. They've got Kobe Clays only just ahead of them. But if they keep on fighting, they're going to end any hope. As back down the inside goes Hopley. We'll try to respond, will Ververke, but that's a very poor exit for him. And they're just dropping about 0.4 of a second behind. So yeah, of course, this is a replay of the move.
Yeah, big shout out and thank you to Crumb following us on Twitch as well.
So Hopley on that last lap was 1.5 seconds faster than Clays. I don't know if Clays maybe has a fuel issue. He had a decent length pit stop certainly. But he's losing time hand over fist, can't lead to Hopley, and this is the battle for the fun step on the podium in the silver class. So all of a sudden, got quite a nice battle here, and Clays just seems to be losing time down the straight, if anything. Maybe he's picked up a bit of damage, or he is having to run a lower engine maybe. You can see visually Hopley just easing up. He's gained about 0.3 of a second just since the carousel, and now running really wide. He's leaving himself in big trouble right now. It's Kobe Clays. Joey's been able to hang on to that position for much of the race. It's been really the centre of many of the battles earlier on. And he's taking a little bit of an unnecessary tight line there. Decent run out, but if that straight line speed is as bad as he showed it to be in the middle part of the circuit, it's going to be a sitting duck hit. So we move on to lap 27 of the race, 28, apologies. As going right to the pit wall, round the outside is Andrew Hopley. Now have to be super deep on the brakes, really tight on the inside there is Clays, and Hopley with the better exit, trying to get involved as Ververke just behind, but he's not quite got close enough yet. Almost touching one another, going into turn 3, and just being able to move back ahead is plays, and this really is getting Viverke involved as now. But yeah, Hopley certainly looking the stronger out of these three.
Yeah, Hopley actually up 14 places in this race. And not that lap just gone, but the one previous to that, I was just looking while you were talking. He was actually the second fastest car. It gives him a little nerf. Not much, but just a little one. Doesn't make any move for Viverke. Maybe could have had an opportunity to poke his nose in, but again, that would have been a bit of a send from there. Tricky corner, that uphill left, so easy to lock the brakes as you go. Car just gets a little bit light going up the hill as you almost get a little bit of air up there. So yeah, hopefully looking very quick. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say Garcia's going to be with these guys by the end as well after issues earlier on for him. What happened to Garcia? I swear he was fighting for like 6th place about 20 minutes ago. Didn't see what happened.
I can, well, let's...
Actually, he had a long pit stop. 23 seconds longer than pretty much everyone else.
I'm guessing that's tyres, yeah, exactly. Minute 16 in the pit lane, 35 seconds stationary, so tyres gone on that car for Garcia. Maybe forgot to untick them. Easy done. And yeah, bites you hard and you do that. So, but of course, we'll have phenomenal pace right now because of the fresh rubber. But he's only got, well, we've only got 30 seconds. And yeah, I hate to say it, Sam, our qualifications in maths are not going to be worth anything. We're on lap 29, and it's 59 minutes and 45 seconds. So it's only going to be, we're only going to be 29 laps. So your A level means absolutely nothing because you're even further out than I was. So yeah.
Glad I'm not doing it at uni at least.
Yeah. You're 7.
Yeah. Yeah, my 7, whatever that means.
7, just not good. But, so yeah, here he comes anyway. Final lap of the race. You know, that was the pit stop we didn't take into consideration. There's a minute lost in the pit lane, you see.
I was still out. Thanks for trying to defend me there, but it was still being 30. So here he goes anyway. 30, 31, 29. As it turns out, it's still going to be the race win for Van Necton as he approaches the line here at Road America, and he wins round 9 of the championship. Absolute domination, 20 seconds clear by the end. Daniel McCauley should hang on. Going through the final corner now, 1 second clear of Bob Boland. Fantastic battling between those two. Boland had half a chance during the pit stops, couldn't make it, and in the end McCauley hang on pretty comfortably at the end. Ranks will beat the Tej. We should probably go to... oh yeah, of course, McCauley leads the winner out of the silver drivers. Kobe Clays is going to hang on against Viverke. Sherman's will be second in the silver drivers. Actually getting pretty close to Van Buell by the end of the race. And top of the bronze drivers, up to an issue actually for Pedro Braganza. Don't quite know what happened to Braganza there because he was leading for much of the race. He's going to lose out actually to Stuart Musselwhite. I don't know if there's maybe a replay to be found there for what happened to Pedro there in the Spirit Sim Racing car. But he was leading for much of this race, but now 15 seconds behind. These two, in fact, are going to be the only finishers in the bronze category, with the likes of Woodburn, Van Uytven and Berg all dropping out of the race with their respective issues. And yeah, it's going to be a nice out here from Stuart Musselwhite.
Yeah, I'll just see him cross the line. I say, gotta be consistent. Gotta, you know, don't make mistakes and get the results. It's going to be a win for him in class. So congratulations to Stuart.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty close to championship leader Bram Van Uytven by the end of this race. So certainly opening up that championship a little bit. Pedro Braganza will finish in second position then. And, well, yeah, we can now, as he crosses the line, I'm hoping we'll be able to go through the final results. And indeed we can. So, Van Necton wins out here at Road America Oval and in that gold category as well. Domination from his parts, 20 seconds clear at the end. Dan McCauley did well to win the silver category, and beat Bod Boland by about a second across the line. Guru Ranks was in 4th position overall. There's Matthias de Tiege, Stein Van Buel, and Nick Shermans. There's Peter Grouse, Ruben Van Buel, and Ronald Moons rounding out the top 10. Behind that was Ian Roots, and then Kobe Clays in 12th position. There's Roy Verke, Javier Garcia, Ben Thanes, Benjamin Mears, Andrew Hopley, Stephen DeWolf, Stuart Musselwhite, and Pedro Braganza rounding out the top 20. And the finishers, the non-finishers, were Woodburn, McConville, Dima Hessels, Burge, Van Utven, Moretta, and Dupan as well, because it was his birthday, Anton, so he did have an excuse. And hopefully we'll have some interviews with the drivers now, and I think we already have Ian Roots with us. So Ian, well done out there. Just take us through your race, finishing in 11th position in the end.
Yeah, I had pace for top 6. I definitely had pace for top 6. Did you see the second turn? Second turn.
Oh, that was you, was it?
It was me. Two wheels on the grass in the braking zone. Was running out of room rather rapidly. Didn't want to take out Ruben, I believe it was, in front of me. So just took to the grass to avoid any carnage. Obviously, by the end of the lap, I was, apart from Andy, who started in pit lane, I was dead last. And had the fight back of the season.
Yeah, it was a great, fantastic effort back to 11. You must, it was close to Ronald at the end. How long was that pursuit going on? Did you think you were going to get him? No.
I think I was in 15th or 16th place, and I'd caught up with Ben Taines. I'd caught up with him, and I could see 9th in the same fight, and I thought, let's just pit early. If I can pit early, get my head down and get some clean laps in with clean air, I can jump the majority of them in the pit stop, because I knew I was faster than those at the beginning of the race. And I pitted early. I had clean air. I think Ruben ahead of me done exactly the same. I think he was stuck in that battle. We did exactly the same. We came out pretty much together, and then we just got our heads down, and I think we jumped Roy, Ben. I was hoping to jump Ronald, but he came out of pit lane literally just in front of me, and I think by that time I'd pushed my tyres so hard, I don't think I'd got anything left on the front left, so it was never going to happen. I tried it on the penultimate lap, but no, I was just struggling for grip.
Yeah, still a fantastic effort, as we've already talked about. And just looking to the end of the season, any kind of personal aims on your part? Any positions in the championship that you're aiming for, or maybe a certain position in the remaining rounds?
Well, I always try to finish top 10 if I can. It's not happened very often this season. The standard's very high this season. So anything top 15 for me really is great. If I can finish top 15 overall at the end of the season, I'll be pleased with that. Some good points tonight, so I should climb a little bit, and I think I made a few places on the guys that were just above me in the championship. So just keep it clean really. I've had a good race tonight. I had a pretty good race in the last round as well, decent finish. So just keeping it clean and staying on the tarmac is the aim. Didn't work first corner for me today, but I managed to put it back at the end, and I knew I had the pace, so I just had to get my head down and concentrate and make up the time on the pit stop.
Yeah, so made for a very entertaining race for you nonetheless, and we certainly look forward to seeing you next time. Ian, before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, I'd just like to thank this time round just the admins that and all the work, and especially Ronald Moons, the work that's going on behind the scenes preparing for season 4. There's an incredible amount of work being done by Ronald, and we've gained a new sponsor for next season as well. So we're working hard. We're trying to grow the brand, and the admin team behind the scenes that have done the work. I'd just like to thank those guys, and thanks for sticking around and joining us in season 4. Really, to be honest, and that's about it. Really, just thank you guys. You guys do a great job every week, and yeah, we'll speak to you next week.
Thank you very much, Ian, and yeah, see you next week. So, next up, Alex, anyone you fancy having a chat with?
I'll grab Dan in. We'll have a quick chat with Dan. He had a good run. Mr. McCauley, you got us there?
Yeah. Evening, guys.
Well, congrats on winning the silver class tonight, and of course second place. The win pretty much not on today, I think. You know, you had a lot of battling to do out there, and you've just drove away at the front. But you were able to hold on to second. It was a bit close during the pit stop phase, though.
Yeah, the Mercedes really did seem to be fast around here. I'm not sure if it's just the general BOP of the car, and this track shows it up a lot more, but it just seems to have been a bit up and down all season. I think that's why so many people have chosen the Mac. But I just had to work hard and try and have the in-lap and the out-lap of my life to try and to give myself a chance, because obviously the Mercedes could run even longer on fuel than what the BMW could by about a lap, so that wasn't great. But yeah, just tried to save some tyres for the end of the race in case Bod did happen to get past in the pit stop, but luckily he didn't.
Yeah, and actually, save tyres you seem to have done, because after the pit stops, you're just a fraction quicker and you're able to eke out. But yeah, I mean, they open in probably 10-15 laps. That's where really the pressure was mounting. I think at one point I commented on the fact that, you know, you're having to defend a lot and check your rear view mirror a lot more than perhaps you wanted to as well. But fortunately, the Sim Racer World cars started to get involved, and give you a little bit of free space and able to push on.
Yeah, especially having Gregory catching me, because it's close between me and him for second overall. So that was, I really wanted to try and keep a car in between us and maybe get a bit closer to him in the standards. Not sure if it's still possible, but it's all just not over till the checkered flag drops in the last race at Spa. So just have to keep pushing and hopefully jump up a bit more. I think I'm close to sealing the silver title now, so that's good, and just have to hope for a good weekend next week at Brands.
Yeah, and of course Pro will be the following season. Are you planning on running season 4? Obviously Ian just mentioned that, you know, the planning is well on its way for that.
Hopefully I will. I'd like to enter a team. It all just depends on, you know, the attraction when you read the rule book when it comes out, and whether it's going to be as good a season as this one, because this season's been great so far. It'd be good for it to carry on. Maybe just a few more tweaks to the series, like manual BOP or something, to try and get a bit more like variety in the field, because it seems just a bit like a BMW and Mercedes Cup at the minute. So it'd be great to have a bit more variety. iRacing makes 4 great cars. It'd be great to use all 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just hope Ian and the rest of the admins do a great job. It'd just be good for them to, you know, push it, take it to the next level with the backing they've got, and the broadcast you guys do. There's no reason why this can't be a highly viewed series on the Esports Network.
Yeah, I've certainly mentioned to Ian actually that if they want to apply for that for season 4, they're more than welcome to. So yeah, get it on there. But yeah, so you mentioned obviously next week. I mean, how do you feel the BMW is going to perform there? Do you reckon BOP might suit that a little bit better, that track car combo?
I'm not too sure. I thought the BMW would have been good around here, but unfortunately it just seemed to lack a bit. But it just seems that the Mercedes is strong wherever it goes, and it's just whether or not I get lucky with the BMW. But I'll be practicing during the week again with Josh and CQR, and hopefully get up there. But again, it's just a lottery whether we're as fast as the Mercedes next week.
Yeah. Oh well, wish you all the best of luck for that one. Before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Just thanks to you guys for the broadcast. Shout out to the CQR guys. They were watching me in the session, giving me a bit of help. Big thanks to Josh. He gave me some help just before the session started. That kind of helped improve my qualifying pace. And also shout out to him for getting his pro license this season. It's a massive achievement. And just thanks as always to ApexRacingTV Media for all the screenshots and stuff.
Thanks, mate. Well,
cheers.
All the best luck for the next one, and we'll see you there.
Catch.
Who do you fancy next then, Sam?
Who shall we go for? So who was the winner out of the bronze judge? None of them are with us, I believe. So
Muscle White, wasn't it? One.
Yeah. So I think we'll have a chat with Bod Boland instead, seeing that he was third position overall and second place in the gold drivers. And Bod, you must be quite pleased with that. It must have been a bit frustrating staying behind Daniel for all those laps, but was still a really good battle.
Hi guys, yeah, it was good. A little bit frustrating, as you say, early on. We're about halfway through the race. I remembered that Daniel's in the silver category, so it wasn't really worth risking both our races. So I kind of took my foot off the pedal a little bit, but then I started making mistakes. I only know how to drive one way, and being a little bit conservative doesn't work for me, I'm afraid. But I'm getting too old for these battles.
Yeah, well, of course, hour-long sustained battles, and just absolutely no respite whatsoever. It came to a climax, really. The battle-defining moment was kind of in the pit stops, where you had that one extra lap where you could maybe eke out a bit of an advantage. Was that a very good in-lap, or was there maybe a couple of tenths available which could have promoted you up into second place?
It was crew chief. I'm going to sack him. Because when I finished the race, I still had about 2.5 gallons. So I could have maybe got out ahead of Daniel. Daniel's quick. If I can finish behind Daniel every week, I'll not be too far away.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, still a fantastic effort. And, just looking to the end of the season, in the championship, you're currently in third. Are you planning on maybe just jumping Gregory ranks right at the climax, or are you quite happy with third place in the championship as it is?
I'm happy wherever I finish, mate. To be honest, I just really, really enjoy the league. It's really good. I've got no aspirations about finishing first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th. I'm not bothered. Just to live with the likes of Gregory and Pippin every couple of weeks. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly looked like some fantastic racing out there. And before we let you go, Bod, anyone you'd like to thank?
Just you guys. I say it every week I come on. You do a fantastic job. Obviously, Ian, Gregory, and the boys, they do a fantastic job as well with the league. It just goes from strength to strength for me. It's brilliant.
Absolutely. It was great to watch you out there today, Bod. And we'll see you next week.
You will, pal. Thanks very much.
So I think last up, Alex, we'll have a chat with Kobe Clays.
Kobe, welcome to the booth.
Good evening, thank you.
Well, just talk us through your race today. You're in the thick of it. Couple of little incidents that we spot. One that sticks in my mind, the battle going into Canada corner. Car, well, he just about held onto it and kept it out the wall, but it looked like an intense race for you.
Yeah, indeed, completely right. My concentration was nowhere today. Don't know why. My car wasn't either. My setup wasn't good. I think I didn't practice enough. I was struggling today. I was really struggling.
I mean, you said you perhaps didn't practice as much as you perhaps wanted to, but I mean, pace-wise was looking pretty good in the early part of the race. You were making moves, you were moving forward. Like I said, then just a couple of minor incidents really sort of set you back right in that middle pack. But yeah, the action was just all around you today.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I messed up 3 corners, I think. Went to the gravel 3 times when it wasn't really necessary. So yeah. Set me back quite a bit.
What do you think? I mean, you're putting that down to I mean, there are drivers out there on the sim and the service that, you know, they take 3 or 4 laps. They're up to speed. They've got their consistency in that, and I hate them sort of drivers because I'm completely the opposite. We're just seeing one of your off-track moments right now. Fortunately, the trees are hiding most of it. You're okay. But for myself, you know, it takes me if I don't get. I would probably say I probably need 2 hour-and-a-half sessions for me to feel like comfortable and consistent in the car and the track combo that I am racing at for that week. I mean, how do you find yourself? What sort of length of time do you need to practice to feel, you know, at one with the car at the track combo?
I can quite easily adapt to other cars or tracks. I try to drive as much time I have. This track I did 40 minutes this evening practice. So yeah, I should spend more time in my simulator practicing. That would help a lot.
Well, I mean, what's the rest of the season looking like for you? Obviously, I was commentating on this series right at the start of the season. Now we're getting more towards the business end. What's your hopes? What you're trying to pull out of this championship with just a few rounds remaining now?
I definitely hope to stay ahead of Andrew Hobley. It will be immensely difficult because his pace is really crazy. And I have to drop another race because I have something at work I have to attend to. So I would try to end up in the podium in silver class.
Yeah, damn those work commitments, eh?
Yeah, indeed.
Always gets in the way of our hobby,
Yeah, indeed.
Well, I wish you all the best of luck in trying to maintain the advantage here, Andrew. You're right, he was very quick today. He come through that pack. He was showing some great lap times out there. Yeah. So, yeah, that's going to be a tough job indeed, but I wish you the best on that. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to while the mic's yours?
Sure. All the drivers, of course. It was a nice race. You guys for the commentary, the all SRW crew, and yeah, my Dynamics team, who support me very well. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your week, buddy, and yeah, we'll see you for the next one.
Yeah, thank you. See you next week. Bye.
It was good. And while we had him on there, we ought to give a shout out to Dynamics because, of course, they do support the series as well, Sam. So, yeah, to the official sponsor, Simracersworld, for organising it. So, another great meeting.
Yeah, absolutely, a superb race. I feel as though I must confess I haven't watched too many of the rounds so far this season, but it certainly does seem to be the type of racing we normally get in the Simracersworld series, and we'll look forward to next week. Do you know what circuit it is next week, Alex?
I'm pretty sure Dan said it was Brands, didn't he?
Brands Hatch, there you go. And yeah, of course, yeah, the BMW should be quite strong around there, as you were saying earlier on. And a bit of a unique circuit, that not easy to overtake by any means, and will certainly offer a very different challenge to this Road America circuit. So, yeah, I think that pretty much rounds us off for this evening. Of course, pretty much haven't got anything on the channel, I believe, until Monday, which will be the World GT Championship, and also the Masters as well. And then Tuesday, I'll have the Masters. Also, Monday night, we'll have the Victory Tech Series. And then on Wednesday, we should have the return of the iRacing Le Mans Series. Also, the World F3 Championship, which, of course, Alex will be going at battling, hopefully, to claim another couple of podiums. And then, of course, you'll be back with us. And also, actually, no, BSRTC doesn't start next week. But, well, yeah, certainly next Thursday, we'll be back with the Simracersworld Series. So from me and from Alex as well, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.